All right. It is episode 48. Welcome back to the Upacreek with Two Paddles podcast. We are here at Lake Monticello once again. It is a lovely day. A little bit hot. I think the high's
Very
90
nice.
today.
Really?
Yeah,
It doesn't feel it. It doesn't feel 90 today.
It was not 90 yet. It is 11:33 in the morning, June 9th. Email. Hit us up at the email. I remember him.
Upacreek at the paddle pad at the
At the paddle pad.
Upacreek at the paddlepod.com.
Yes, sir. If you want to email us, give us some feedback, give us some criticism, give us some talking points, some suggestions, some questions, shoot us an email at upacreek at thepaddlepod.com.
Old school style. Emails. You ever heard of them? Not no DMs.
Emails.
We're Gen Zers. We're still in the old tech.
If we get to the point where people actually email us, eventually I'd like to open up a voicemail box where people can call in and we can respond to their messages.
That'd be dope.
That'd be fun. Maybe do that like once a month, little call-in episode.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So, what is on the talking list today? You were just saying something about picking some tomatoes?
Yeah, I got my first harvest of the season. 2 tiny Better Boy tomatoes. I put them on a pizza last night. They were delicious.
Nice.
Juicy, sweet. Yes, they were very, very nice.
Nice.
I used my my grandmother gave me
I'm sweating.
a tomato knife. Have you ever seen a tomato knife?
I have not.
So it's a long, very, very thin-bladed knife that's serrated. It's specifically to get through that what do you call it? The kind of that tough outer peel of a tomato.
The skin?
You can slice right through that thing. And it kind of bends. It has a lot of give to it.
Right.
I really like it. I use a tomato knife. Get you a tomato knife if you've never experienced one. They're very nice. If you eat a lot of tomatoes.
I'll just use a sharp knife. Works pretty well.
It's the same thing. Serrated though. Get you serrated for your tomatoes.
That's for people who don't know how to sharpen knives properly.
Listen. If you're an old grandmother and your life is in the kitchen cooking for your fucking family,
convenience is key.
You know the
Efficiency.
difference between a damn steak knife and a tomato knife.
Efficiency.
How dare you?
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I have an excellent story though from this week.
All right.
It's not an excellent story. It's kind of a sad story, but
Let's hear it.
I'm gonna lay it on you, okay? So yeah, I had to go to a conference this week for my job in Charleston, South Carolina. This is like a nationwide organization that like kind of helps train people up in the ways of RCRA corrective action and permitting.
Of what?
RCRA corrective action and permitting.
RCRA corrective.
RCRA corrective action and permitting. So RCRA is the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act.
Okay. I thought RCRA corrective was a word.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So RCRA, RCRA, corrective action, meaning corrective action referring to the cleanup of sites, hazardous waste sites that have been contaminated.
Okay.
Just through use and operation.
I follow.
Anyway, I had to go to a conference. I won't bore you on the details of the RCRA corrective action things that we learned about. But the first day we got there, I was like, man, I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no, you know what I mean? I ain't got to,
Chilling.
be home. No specific time. I got a hotel room, whatever. Got no responsibilities. So I found some soccer fields that were like maybe a half-mile walk from the hotel I was staying at. They were right near the aquarium. They're like a couple blocks away from the aquarium.
Was that down on Harbor?
It's off of East Bay.
Right.
But yeah.
Down where the ferry takes off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time down there. Love that spot.
Yeah, so they built up some really fancy new apartments right there. You can see the bridge, and it's just this big square, like a few acres, maybe like 3 acres of just soccer fields.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was hyped, and
I got kicked out of biking there.
Really?
A couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just like it's right by the railroad tracks, and then there's a big concrete.
Was it like 3 soccer fields or something over
something
there?
like that.
So
yeah.
It's a big
square pitch.
Yeah, big park.
Yeah. But anyway, so I was there and I was like, man, I'm gonna stay out here for like 2 or 3 hours, bro. I ain't got to be home. I'm always like trying to squeeze this in between Jackson's nap. I'm just about to get a workout in, shoot the ball around, just hang out,
Nice.
in the sun, whatever. And so I was playing. I'd been there for like 15, 20 minutes, right? And there was somebody getting trained, like a little kid was getting coached. And some kids, like a group of kids, kind of came and like surrounded the guys he was coaching, and they were obviously like not being paid to be coached by him. They were just hanging around him, right?
Yeah.
They were kind of playing with his some of his soccer balls that he was using to train. Keep in mind, this is a public park. This isn't like a private soccer complex or anything. It's just a public park.
Right.
And I was like, I was kind of watching him, and they were, he was being nice to him, letting him play with the soccer balls, whatever, while he was trying to train this kid individually, like on a one-on-one setting.
Right, little lesson.
Yeah, a little lesson. So I was just warming up, whatever, kicking around, running, and the lesson finishes up, and it's just basically me out there kicking around, and one of the kids came up to me, and he's probably about 12 or 13. And the group of kids that he was with, there was probably like 5 or 6 of them. And the 2 oldest were boys. And they were around the same age, like 12, 13-ish.
All right.
And one of the boys comes to me, like, "Can I play with you?" And I was like, "Sure." Kick the ball to him, whatever. And he was like kicking it for like all of 20 seconds. And he was like, "Can I have your soccer ball?" And I was like, "Man, to be honest, that's like my favorite soccer ball."
Is it that nice one?
Yeah,
the
street ball. Yeah, really nice ball.
Ball.
And I was like, yeah, and it's honestly like I paid a pretty good price for it. Like, it's one of my favorite one. And I was like, and he's like, kind of kept asking me, like, is it we were playing or whatever, kicking the ball back and forth, and he was like, "Can I play you for it? Like, if I beat you in a game of soccer, can I have it?" And I was like, "It's just me and you out here. Like, we can, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do that, like." And then I was like, "Okay, if you can juggle to 10, you can have it." Okay. And he starts to try to. I was just trying to be nice. Like, I could tell the kid can't afford a soccer ball. Maybe I haven't seen his parents around. There's like the youngest kid is like 3. Keep in mind, there's some other kids playing around. Like, he's a 3-year-old. No, I haven't seen a parent anywhere. The 3-year-old just like being, just running around the field by himself with these other kids, and he tries to juggle the ball to 10. And I was like, if he could have been there 10 days, he was never going to juggle the ball to 10.
Right.
And I was like, what about 5? And he tries to kick the ball around. He's trying to juggle. And then next thing you know is I had 2 balls on me.
Right.
And the one next thing you know, one of his, I asked them if they were brothers and sisters. They said yes. I don't know. I'll get to that later in the story. The sister comes up to me. She's probably about 7 or 8. She's got long, like weaved hair, like kind of like, I don't know if they call it like artificial hair, like, but like a weave. You know what I mean?
All right.
Anyway, I don't know why it's not important to the story, but she comes to me and she's like, I'll play with you. Can we play? And then the other older brother that's probably around 13 or 12 or 13 was like, I'll be goalie. And so I was like, started playing the little girl in one-on-one and like rolling some light shots at the kid. And we did that for a few minutes, maybe like 10 minutes. And the little girl was like, "You're too good, like can't play anymore, whatever." And the next thing you know, she's like, "Do you have any money? Do you have any money?" She says, "Do you have any money on you?"
It's probably the same kids that go around selling the reed, the flowers that they make out of the reeds.
I mean, they didn't have none of that.
Well, I'm saying it might have been the same, because there's a lot of kids out in Charleston that'll go around trying to sell those flowers to get money. I wonder if it was just them on their off time.
Maybe was it a little dragonfly?
I think it was a dragonfly. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, I was like, okay, I have $2. And that's what I told her. I was like, I think I have like literally $2 in my wallet. In actuality, I had 1. I checked later. I had $1.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's 5 of y'all. Like,
right.
How I'm gonna give you $2, and how y'all gonna split that between the 5 of y'all? I don't want to give you $1 and then one of your brothers $1. What about I don't feel right about that.
Right.
And that's what I told her. And and she kind of kept asking, and at this point, I'm like kind of taking my cleats off.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I had been there maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And these kids kind of swarm me a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of taking my cleats off at this point, kind of getting ready to go. Because and now I'm kind of like, what kind of game are they running right now?
Right. Keep a close eye on those balls.
Right. Well, yeah, not just the balls. Yeah. I had a bag, my wallet with me, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't have any cash really, but literally I had $1 in cash. And I started to walk. I started to like kind of pack up, and she's asking me, "She's like, are you here by yourself? Like, where are you from? Like, are you from Charleston? Are you from Columbia? Where are you staying? Are you staying in a hotel? Like, this is a 6-year-old or 6 to 8-year-old little girl asking me these questions.
I live here.
And
that's the correct answer.
I was like, and she's like, are you by yourself? Are you walking? And I was like, I kind of answered all those questions like very vaguely. I was like, where are y'all from? Like, are y'all brothers and sisters? And they said, yeah. And then we're from West Ashley. Keep in mind, West Ashley is 30 minutes away by car.
Right.
Across the peninsula and across the river.
Right.
I haven't seen any parents. A couple of these kids ain't got any shoes on. And the kid that was trying to juggle to 10 was like, hey, I got a cut on my foot. I can't juggle to 5. Can I have your soccer ball? And he showed it to me. And it was just this open, fleshy, just mess on his foot. And luckily I had some Band-Aids on me, and I gave him I gave him like 3 Band-Aids.
Them kids ain't from West Ashley.
Hell no, they ain't. And I was like, I felt bad for these kids, and they were trying to get the $2 from me. And I'm just packing up, and I felt bad. After I gave the kid the Band-Aids, I packed my stuff up and left. She even asked, she was like, do you get scared at night when you're like trying to go to sleep? I was like, what is
going on with these kids?
So I started to walk away. Like I was like walking away off the field. I packed my stuff up and I was leaving. And then she starts yelling to one of her maybe brothers in like in a language that I don't really understand.
Gullah.
Possibly. I don't know. And the next thing I know, I just put some distance between me and them, like quickly.
Smart.
And then I was kind of telling this story to a couple of my coworkers, and one of them was like, those kids were homeless.
Potentially.
I mean, for sure. And I was like, I didn't know maybe if they like had an older person that they were going to signal to, like, hey, this guy's
right.
This guy's ripe for the pickings.
Exactly.
You guys, we need to follow him and pick him off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I did. I didn't know. And I didn't know if one of the like if you have a 12, 13-year-old boy that's homeless and hungry, like that's gonna make a bad situation.
Right.
And like
sure.
And I was like, I just wanted to get away from. I felt so bad for those kids because it seemed like they kind of probably were homeless.
Yeah. That sucks.
Anyway, I felt bad. And then a couple of my coworkers were like, you didn't give him the soccer ball, did you? Didn't give him no money, did you? And I was like,
fuck you.
I was like, that's your attitude really for these kids?
Fuck you, dude. Here's what I would have... Can I?
No, I'm
is there
done.
more story?
I'm done.
So, first thought, maybe they were homeless, but also that park's pretty close to North Charleston up there. Could have been
there's some government housing around there.
Yeah,
too.
it could have been a more impoverished family, kids just walking out of the park,
like drop their kids off and like, this is what you need to do today.
Not necessarily homeless, but still struggling. But it sucks because there's no like Walmart on the peninsula.
Oh God, no.
Ideally, my first thought would have been like,
there's not even a grocery store, is there?
Harris Teeter. Yeah, there's a Harris Teeter right there on East Bay, I think.
Okay.
But my first thought would have been like, listen, man, y'all stay right here. If there was somewhere close, I'd be like, y'all stay right here. I'll get you a soccer. Go Walmart, $15. I'll get you a soccer ball. That's my knee-jerk reaction. But there's no like they would have been waiting for 2 hours on you to go to a Walmart.
If he would have juggled to 5 or 10, I would have given it to him.
Right.
But I just anyway. I know that's stupid, but
I mean, like he earned it.
Right.
Like kind of like.
At least I didn't just. And I made a bet with him at this point. It's not that I'm giving it to him.
That's also like, if you can juggle to 5. you're proving to me that you have an interest in soccer.
Right. Exactly. Like
right. You don't just want the ball because it's a ball.
Right.
You actually have an interest in soccer, which is more compelling as to why I would give you a soccer ball.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my first reaction is like, damn, I wish there was like a sporting goods store or a Walmart close by. I go get a, $15, $20 soccer ball. They can have it. A nice little donation. But being on the peninsula in downtown Charleston, there's nowhere you can go to.
Yeah, the 2 balls I had were $60 each.
Right. Yeah, that sucks. But hey, at least they got a nice little field to go play in.
Let's
find the bright sides.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It's a nice spot to hang out.
Beautiful little park in Charleston. If I was a kid, I wouldn't mind chilling there all day.
I took a video of this spot. I mean, it's in a really nice location that these kids were kind of hanging out at. I didn't see any other like homeless people, like because some of the squares in Charleston, like homeless people just kind of hang out.
A lot of them will hang out. Right there's one guy who
Marion Square. There's always some homeless people on Marion Square. Right
on the edge of that parking garage, right there for the harbor. Is it the Harbor Walk?
I'm not sure.
Right there where the aquarium, there's this big parking garage right adjacent to that park you're talking about.
Exactly.
A lot of homeless folks will hang out in there. There was one guy when I was down in Charleston. He's kind of has his spot down there, like right on the corner of that street. And he has all his stuff, and he just kind of sits there in a chair all day, just kind of, asking for handouts, money, whatever. And one day I was, I BMX around Charleston, and I saw that guy there, just kind of like, and he was cool. He wasn't just like, give me cash. He was like, man, anything you got, food, water, whatever you got. And I went to Harris Teeter, and I bought a couple snacks and a couple bottles of water, and I was going back to give it to him, but he was gone. But all his shit was still there because that's like his spot. So I just left a couple bottles of water and a few snacks right there on his chair.
Oh, that's nice.
And I was like, I hope he appreciates that.
I'm sure he did.
But yeah, I mean, like the whole thing, like you didn't give him your soccer, you didn't give him any money.
And in Charleston, it's wild because like all the rich people live like south of Broad. Like I mean, in absurdly expensive houses,
millions of dollars,
absurdly expensive houses.
Yeah,
like. And then right up the street is just homeless kids asking for money.
Yeah, Charleston probably has the most homeless in South Carolina.
Even those apartments that were right there at that park, I mean, they had a rooftop and the balconies were like immaculate.
Yeah, that was in construction last time I was there, so I haven't seen it like complete, but those are very nice apartments.
It was like luxury style.
Very nice
for
apartments.
Sure.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But on the sentiment of like, you didn't give him any money, did you? Man, one day I was in Spartanburg. It was late. I got off work when I was working with UPS. So I got off at like 6. Drove up to the QT. I was going to get a little gas, get a couple beers. And I walked in, and as I was walking out, somebody's like, hey, bro, hey. And I, obviously don't turn around, just walk to your car. But I was like, it's Spartanburg, first of all. It's not, people call it Murderburg. I'm not that cautious in Spartanburg. It's fucking Spartanburg. I don't care. Anyway, older couple, maybe mid-40s, looked rough. Definitely had drugs in their lives. Not like making any judgments, just saying it was quite obvious that they weren't living the most clean lives.
Right.
And he had a gas can with him. He was like, man, I just need a little bit of, his story didn't make any sense. He was like, I just need a little bit of gas money. My car's broke down over there. Like, I just need to get a little gas in it so I can get home. And I was like, man, I don't have any cash on me. And he was like, man, just like anything. Like, you put a little gas in my, like anything. And then he was like, also, like, if you can, I'm jumping ahead. So I'm like, all right, I'll tell you what. I will go in the store. There's Wells Fargo ATMs in QT. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go in the store. I'll go to that ATM. I'm going to get $20 out, and I'm going to buy what I need. You can have my change. So I gave him like $14. And I walk out, and this other guy sees me talking to him, walks past me, and then kind of looks back and like shakes his head and kind of mouths something at me as he's walking into the store and I'm talking to these people. Mm. Then I go to the store, walk over to the ATM, get the 20, get my beers, pay for them. And the guy's like, those guys are just about to buy drugs. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what are you doing? Why would you give them money? And I'm like, I feel like being nice. He was like, dude, they're just going to buy drugs with it. I looked at him. I said, dude, it's payday. I don't give a fuck. And he just kind of looked at me, shook his head, and walked out the store. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if they go buy crack right now. If my $14 makes them happy, more power to them. I don't give. They're already.
If it keeps them from hurting somebody,
they're already gonna fucking go get crack.
Oh yeah, they're gonna figure out a way.
They're gonna do it. So I'm like, bro, it's payday. I don't give a fuck.
Those two crackheads probably had a better IQ than he did.
Dude, like, why do you have to be such an asshole?
The hoops that they have to go jump through to get their crack, dude. They have to work hard for their crack. Way harder than that guy probably works.
It's just like the disdain for people, for beggars is so bothersome to me.
I mean, I get it. It's like, why would you encourage them? I get it.
But don't tell me not to give them money.
Oh, yeah, no.
Don't intervene and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You shouldn't give. No, bitch, I'm being nice. It's payday. I got a spare 20. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a shit. Like, worst case scenario, they go OD and I'm responsible. That was going to happen regardless of what money I gave them.
Or, I mean, like I said, it could be the opposite. Like,
who cares?
Maybe they could have got in such a bad way that they had to rob somebody and hurt
Right. And best case scenario, he was telling the truth and he was able to get some gas.
He needed some gas.
But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. I walked back out and I hand him over like $14 cash. And I was like, here, man, this is the best I can do.
He walked away.
No. He said, yo, can you just give me a ride back to my car? Him and his wife, 2 people.
Uh-huh.
He's like, can you just give me a ride back to my car? I was like, nah, man, that's the best I can do. He was like, come on, man, it's like a mile away. And I'm thinking, you walked here. Walk the fuck back.
A mile is not that far.
Walk
you can
back.
knock that out in 15 minutes.
Just walk back. I'm not giving you a ride. And he was like, come on, it's like 5 minutes away. Come on, man, just give me a ride. I'm like, first of all, that's sketchy. I know you can walk. Why are you begging me so hard for a ride? Why are you doing that? And I told him straight up, I was like, look, man, I'm willing to give you some cash, but I'm not letting strangers in my car. You got to understand that. And that's exactly what I told him. He was like, all right, man. All right. Well, I appreciate it. And I was like, I think he actually tried to ask me again to give him a ride. I'm like, dude, man, look, I'm willing to help, but I ain't letting strangers in my car. Like, you got to understand me on that one. Come on.
See, I wasn't going to tell you this story, but now I feel obligated to.
All right. We're just switching. Let's just quick thing. Somebody commented on the clip of me with my legs like this and said, what kind of self-respecting man sits like that? I just replied and said,
legitimate.
One that one that likes to sit comfortably. How about this? Is that more gay? How gay is that?
My dick and balls hang so low, they're between my legs.
I can choose. I can put them up. I can put them down. They fit. Ain't nothing getting squished. We're all good.
See, I'm so wide, it just doesn't work. Like, my legs don't wrap like that.
See, I'm so lanky, I can literally hook this leg around that one.
Look at this. Look at this nonsense.
Yeah, is this better? or is this manly? Anyway, I'm sorry.
You could murder someone in jiu-jitsu with those legs, dude. You could put someone in the nastiest fucking triangle, dude.
My legs are by far the strongest part of my body. I mean, I walk 6 to 11 miles probably every day.
If you can figure out
constantly
how to
lifting.
control someone control someone's body with your legs, like that's like half jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I got that leverage.
Yeah. But no, one time I was going to work one morning in Columbia, and if you're from Columbia, everyone knows this fucking intersection, Elmwood and Bull. When you're coming on to Elmwood, about to run into the T that is Bull, everybody knows that intersection. I was turning left to go towards DHEC or the hospital, whichever one. And it sucks. Like I literally, the traffic stopped me perfectly, eyeball to eyeball, with this man that was like, I never do this. Like, because I really, like, I don't got enough money to just be handing it out every day. There's somebody on that corner every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and
see, what I would do, sorry to interrupt, I would love, and I might actually do this, but I don't encounter that many homeless people. Just keep a case of water in the car.
Just give them water. Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Anyway.
But yeah, no. So this is kind of a different situation. I didn't even roll my window down. He was like trying to talk to me. He was trying to mumble something. I assumed he was asking for money, and I was like, oh, "Sorry, dude." And he was like, he said something about I don't want your money, and like I never do this, but I rolled my window down, and he was talking about how he needed a ride. This is a long light. Okay,
Right.
He needed a ride to the hospital, which is less than a mile away. It's probably like half a mile away.
From the time he was standing there asking for rides, he could be at the hospital.
Let me finish. He was like, I need a ride. My brother is on. They just took my brother off life support, and I got to get there to tell him goodbye. Let me finish. Don't interrupt me. He was like, I got to get there so I can tell him goodbye, and I was like, oh man, what the fuck? And I tried to give him I was like, here, just have $2, please. Just let me go, please. And because that's what I had in my wallet. And it's always $2. I don't know why. I guess I'm fucking poor. And it's like, and he was like, man, I don't need your money. I'll pay you to drive me to the hospital. And I was like, what? And I was like, man. And then he was just like, thank you, brother. God bless you. And he jumped in the bed of my truck.
Okay, I can deal with that. That's the safest possible option.
I didn't say yes. I mumbled some gibberish.
Still.
And I was just hoping the light was going to turn green.
That's the safest option. That's the only way I would feel safe doing that.
He jumped in the bed of my truck.
To be fair, my story, I was still in my car. I didn't have a truck yet.
Right.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
He jumps in the bed of my truck. And finally, he was like, thank you. And I was like, he just gets in the bed of my truck. Keep in mind, my office is literally across the street from the hospital, basically.
Right.
Which is not far. It's not a far walk. But anyway, I drove him literally to the light that is like right before the hospital. He jumps out and says, "Thank you, God bless you," and just walks.
Cool. That's good. This is a heartwarming story.
And I was like, how is this man going to steal my truck? Is there any way, like, he's not going to shoot me? I'm driving the car.
Right.
You know, unless we're at a stoplight.
Dude, hopping in the back of the truck, I'm like, I would do, if I had my truck, I might have given those people a ride.
And I was literally, like I said, my work was literally right there. So I was like, what
but
the
yeah,
fuck,
like, I guarantee he was sitting there.
If he was lying. I just wonder if he was lying.
But why?
Because if it's that urgent, are you going to chance it on waiting for someone to pick you up?
That's my point.
Like, why would you not just run there?
Right. In the time he wasted sitting there asking for a ride, he could have made it to the hospital.
His story makes no sense. And that's what made me not want to take him. I was like, are you lying right now?
Yeah, he's 100% lying. 100%.
It just sucks, man. And I don't want more of those people around because it just makes public areas intolerable.
It does.
And it's like...
And it's so sad.
It's so sad because you want to help the people. I feel bad for them.
I feel so bad for them.
But it's like you can't. Like, what can you do?
Right.
But you don't want to. And I get people's argument. Like, you don't want to encourage those people.
No. Right.
But it's just
I try if it's ever, to be honest, if it's ever convenient for me, I try to provide like food. I got more bum stories. There was one time, same QT. I walked out and this man said, hey, young man. I try not to turn around, but I'm like, I'm the only one in the parking lot. I turn around. He's like, man, can you help a brother out? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? He was like, I just want some food, man. I just want a pulled pork sandwich. I forget I think it was some type of barbecue sandwich. And I was like, all right, brother. I'll tell you what. I got you. Because we're in QT.
He wanted one from QT?
Yes. So if
they're asking for food, I
respect that. I respect that. Oh, camera. Sorry. I don't want to interrupt these stories because these might be clippable. My ears are sweating from being in those headphones.
It's only 12 o'clock. We're knocking it out early today.
Oh, it was nice.
We should just start meeting at 8 a.m.
You said 10. I was like, let's do 10:30. I would not have made it here by 10, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, guy, he calls me over, like, yeah, I just want some food. I want to, I forget if it was roast beef or I think it was barbecue. He was like, it was barbecue hash. That's what he wanted. He said, I want a barbecue hash sandwich, something like that. And I was like, all right, man, I got you. Just come on in. and order what you want. So he walked in and he goes up to the people working there, and they know this man. It was very obvious they have dealt with this man many, many times. So he walks in, he's like, man, I want one of them barbecue hash sandwiches, and they're all like,
mixed sandwich?
or
Because I fuck with a mixed sandwich. I can get down with
I don't remember exactly. I'm
you
just
ever
gonna
had a
say
mixed sandwich?
No, I'm just gonna say barbecue sandwich.
Put you some hash and barbecue on the same sandwich. Tell me what you think about it.
He walks in and he's like, hey, can I get one of them barbecue sandwiches? And all of the people kind of roll their eyes and they're like, we don't have those. So
what the fuck?
This man has been there before,
And he
then
asked for a barbecue sandwich multiple times, and they just don't have them.
So either way, I told him, I was just like, dude, pick out something you want.
Did they used to have them?
I don't remember. It's been a long time, and I was like, dude, just find something you want, order it. I got you. Because I'm like, this man's obviously hungry. I've already volunteered to help. I'm gonna feed this.
He's
man.
Obviously delirious.
So, or maybe they actually did have him in the past. I don't know if it was like a limited time offer.
They did. Yeah, I want to say they did.
Yeah,
maybe.
and then they had just like recently stopped it. But he was like, we don't have. Maybe they said like we don't have those anymore. But so he picked out something, got something else, and then I told him, I was like, all right, I'll get you a drink too. You know, I ain't gonna leave you out here eating with nothing to drink. You know, so he walked over, gets like a $4 drink. This fucking asshole. And then
they always get the most expensive
and then
thing.
starts dragging me around the store asking for me to buy him like everything. He's like, will you give me some of that beef jerky? Will you give me some skid? I'm like, bro, you get a food and a drink. Beggars can't be choosers, motherfucker. You are the definition of a beggar.
Right.
You get what I provide.
Yeah. That was the deal.
Right, yeah, and then the cashier was kind of like, he was kind of annoyed, but also kind of like appreciative of me, like at least getting him food. I'm not just giving him, you know, trying to be nice. And then this other time in Boiling Springs at that QT, I like QT.
Obviously.
They're way overpriced. I've stopped going there.
You're a basic bitch.
I've stopped going there recently. They're far too overpriced.
I don't go to the QT just out of my hatred for the establishment. Sorry, go ahead. That was...
What gas station do you go to that isn't part of the establishment? You're paying for petrol. It's fucking the most establishment possible thing, other than like pharmaceutical drugs.
But the stores are usually, if they're not like a part of like a
more franchise store, like
a franchise store, it's like just a home, like someone
bit more
they
locally.
own the sales of the food and the
Right.
drink, but they don't own the gasoline. That's usually how it works.
But
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just fucking.
No, I mean, just being stupid.
Yeah.
There was this other one, and it was this young girl. I mean, probably like late teens, early 20s. Almost looked like she had kind of run away from home type of deal. Like very fresh to the streets. And I felt so bad. She was just asking for money. And I went in QT and got like a big ass like water, like a liter bottle of water, liter and a half, something like that. And I had a Sharpie and I wrote on it, good luck. And just like as I rode by, I handed it to her. Like that's what I like to do. Ooh, one last bum story. I felt terrible about this. It was when I was at the beach and I was out at the grocery store and I had a case of beer and I drove past this bum begging for something. I was like, I have nothing, but do you want a beer? He was like, no.
Nah, brother.
And I immediately felt terrible.
I'm a pure spirit, brother.
I was like, I don't know why. Maybe he doesn't drink. Maybe that's what got him into this situation.
My body's a temple, man.
Like, I felt terrible about offering a homeless dude a beer who didn't want it. I was like, oh, I thought that would be like extremely happy to receive, but
That's funny.
Yeah, that's all the bum stories I can think about.
Yeah, what a time. Yeah, hopefully people stop moving to South Carolina, North Carolina. I saw this thing. It was like, what's the state that most people are moving to? And it's the Carolinas. Like apparently North and South Carolina have 4 out of the top 10 most popular cities to move to. Most recently, I think it's like Charlotte, Raleigh, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, South Carolina's gonna get overtaken by the hardcore libs. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's definitely not.
Nah, dude. That's what I feel like. That's why people like feel so strongly about just voting red in the state, is because they don't want to give any leniency and play with what happened in other. Like they don't want to even.
Yeah, that's most states, especially in the Southeast.
Yeah.
From Texas to like Virginia. It's most of the sentiment around here.
Mm-hmm.
Even beyond that, a lot of the Midwest has the same ideology.
Yeah. Michigan.
But if anything, like, it might end up being like Austin or Portland, where we have a blue city surrounded by
That's
a red
100%
state.
the way it is now.
And that's fine.
That's the 100%.
That's
the way it
fine.
is.
That's checks and balances.
Yeah, in a way.
That's like, yeah.
Diversity is good.
Yeah.
Diversity of opinion is good.
Yeah, I try to be nice to homeless people when I can. I try. It's just sketchy because you never know
how
anything
hard up
could
they
happen.
are. They could be very hard up.
Anything could happen.
Like, that's what you don't want to put yourself in a dangerous situation.
Right. And luckily, every time I've been in these interactions, it's been in a relatively crowded place with, establishments that have video cameras, and I wouldn't think any of those guys would risk anything too crazy.
And to be honest, you can avoid, if you're uncomfortable in a situation, don't make eye contact.
Yeah,
if
all
you're
of those
uncomfortable,
instances, I should have just kept walking.
Don't look at it, because once you make eye contact, that's their in.
Right.
That's their in. Now it's harder for you to ignore them.
Yeah, but also like little old country boy growing up in Union.
It's so hard.
It's not ingrained in my if you grow up in the inner city in a big city and somebody's like, hey man, like don't fucking look, keep walking, don't fucking look.
Yeah.
But
that has to get trained in you.
Because
me, I'm the same way. Like, if I walk past somebody on the street, I'll look at them. Hello,
hey, how you doing?
It's just a natural thing,
right?
But in the city,
ooh, one more bum story. In Charleston, me and Quinn, is that the day you were there? When it was raining on us really bad, and we were walking through the streets. Were you with us that day?
Yeah, I was there. It was the day we did the podcast.
Yeah, because we walked back to my truck and we were soaked.
Yeah.
There was a homeless guy who asked us if we knew where we were going, and he kind of pointed us in the right direction.
Yeah.
And we were like, God, I wish we could give something to him. Did we get him a coffee or something? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I feel like because we were looking for that coffee shop.
Yes.
I guess. No, I don't think we actually got him anything, but
yeah, the next day I was in Charleston. I took a walk through the they had College of Charleston has this beautiful brick square that kind of runs parallel to King Street. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's a beautiful little square.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing is just paved with bricks. Like, I wonder how much that.
I love Charleston.
How much did that shit cost?
I love Charleston.
It's literally just brick everywhere.
Ooh, one more. I did. There was a really cool dude, and I bought him a pack of cigarettes and a pack of Skittles one day in Charleston because I was walking to get a pack of wraps, way back when Quinn was going to College of Charleston. We were about to roll up, and I walked down, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm dying for some cigarettes, man. You wanna?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro, I got you."
I'm dying for some cigarettes.
I'm nice. If I have money to spare, I'm overly nice. I'm like, "Is that it?" I literally asked him. I was like, "All you want?" Just a pack of cigarettes. And I was like, "What kind?" He was like, "Yeah, I forget what kind."
How much is a pack of cigarettes?
$5 to $10.
Really?
I don't know. It's gotten a lot more expensive lately, so it all depends on the brand. I'd say nowadays $5 to $12 for a pack. Back then, it was probably like a $5 or $6 pack of cigarettes. But he was like, "Give me a pack of cigarettes." I even asked, I was like, "Is that all you want? Anything else?" Like, "I got you. Are you sure?" And he was like, "Pack of Skittles." And I was like, "I got you, bro. I got easy. Done.
I can respect that.
Done."
You're a simple man. Cigarettes and Skittles.
I try to be nice, especially when they're asking for things other than money.
Yeah.
I try to be like, listen, I know what it feels like to not have your neck fixed. I've been there, brother. It's tough. It's tough. I got you.
Hey, you ever think you'll go Zen?
I've tried them. I don't know.
You prefer the vape? I really want to try to stop smoking, dude. Because I just think that I don't want to keep damaging my lungs.
Yeah, I smoke so little that it doesn't in the 24-hour day, there might be smoke in my lungs for a total of 10 seconds. I'm not going to overthink that. I'm not sitting there puffing on a blunt. I'm not sitting there filling my lungs over and over and over and over again. I'm like, I might puff on a pipe. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's smoke in my lungs for 20 seconds in a 24-hour day. I'm not going to overthink that.
It's not as it's not nearly as bad as smoking a cigarette.
No. And I don't smoke all day every day. I smoke maybe once or twice before bed.
Yeah.
Or if I have a day off, maybe once or twice during the day, just chill out.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, me and Quinn talked on the phone for like 3 hours yesterday. It was so nice.
Word.
Yeah. We were playing some games on Game Pigeon, you know, that little iPhone text game thing. That was fun.
What do y'all play?
We did a little bit of everything. We had a lot of fun playing shuffleboard, and then we got into Mancala. You know what Mancala is?
No.
It's the wooden thing. They sell like sets of them in Walmart. It's this little wooden board, 2 holes on the end, and little bowls, 6 bowls on each side with all the marbles. And you got to move the marbles.
Yeah, I played that.
I hadn't played it since I was a very young child. I did not realize how much strategy is involved with that game.
Well, I forget. How does this work? I forget how the game works.
It's going to be super boring to explain.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah. Well,
but no, like, so we've been playing that on and off for the past like 2 days. It is like there's so much strategy about like when to move what rocks. You can set up like captures and shit. It's very fun.
And literally all you need is a wood board.
Yeah.
And rocks.
Right.
That's fucking that's like, dude, humans. I've been thinking lately, like when I'm playing soccer and I'm watching these professionals play soccer, and I'm like, we're almost bred to do this. Like our bodies are almost made to do this.
Right.
Like I wonder how much evolutionary pressure was put on humans from just the games we love to play. Like I wonder how much, because like if you are good at soccer, you're fucking. Like if you're a professional soccer player, you're gonna have some kids.
So I assume that goes back to.
Do you see my argument?
If you're good at chasing down game, you're fucking.
Would elaborate.
All sports go back
game.
to survival. As soon as we begin establishing agriculture and people begin having free time, we need something to supplement that energy dump we used to use on hunting. I think that's where
or basic war games.
Most of sports come from, right? Or
because a lot of people
strategy.
They're like, fuck, we don't want to go gather our own shit. Let's just go take theirs.
Right.
We're good as fuck at fighting.
Yeah, but I think that mainly comes from boredom in times of surplus. Not the war games, but like, you know, like soccer or like anything like that. It comes from like, we need something to expend this energy because now we're living in a surplus. And that's where most of sports stemmed from, if I had to guess. I'm not researched on that, but that seems logical to me.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think that there have been groups of people that have lived peacefully on Earth for a long fucking time, and they've had games for a long fucking time. You know what I mean? I mean, there's different versions of soccer throughout the planet.
It depends on your definition of peaceful, but yes.
Sure. Like think about it. Like
I think about the Mayans playing their game,
right? And
the winner gets sacrificed to the gods.
The winner gets sacrificed.
The winner,
because they're the better ones.
Because it was an honor,
right? We sacrifice the best.
Yeah, so
we're giving our best to the gods.
I mean,
yes. In
one way, that is very peaceful, and in one way, I wouldn't call that peaceful.
Right. Well, take the Japanese for instance. They just have a game where they this like a monk game. They just juggle like this little ball. They, with their feet. But
little hacky sack.
That's not the point I'm making. I'm thinking that. Like you're saying, I just wonder how much selective pressure has been put on humans. Like how much of our physiology and anatomy has developed to excel at certain things, like kicking a ball, like throwing a ball. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Well, I mean,
or how much
throwing a ball. That goes back to throwing rocks at small animals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think that's a pretty known thing. Like we are some of the only creatures that have that ability to like throw something, like, you know, and back to the great ape ancestors,
fine motor skills in your fingers,
and the whole arm. Like our arm is a slingshot,
right? That's exactly what I'm saying. It's almost designed to do this certain thing. I guess not stemming from sports, but
no, it's selected by evolution because in the past those traits meant survival.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's cool. It's cool to like think about how we how all of these different things
And then
came to be.
obviously, like if you excel at a game like chess or like the stone, what is it called?
Mancala.
The strategy game.
Right.
That's going to apply to so many things in your life.
Right.
Strategizing, like planning, like all that sort of stuff is obviously directly applicable. Soccer's a little bit weird because like you're not going to like kick something at something to kill it. You might kick another person.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like a little weird.
That's why I would say soccer's more of just like, we have a lot of energy. We need to get rid of it.
So much endurance involved. God.
Right. And even like baseball, like swinging a bat, golf. That's not, you're not swinging, you're not like, and then you fucking dome an animal. You know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah, that's true.
I wonder what the very, very first sport would be. It's got to go back hundreds of thousands of years to like,
oh God, yeah,
like caveman just like passing the time. Like, I don't know. Like I think back to when one day me and Quinn were camping down on the Broad River at Woods Ferry, and we had nothing to occupy our time, so we made a game called Bocce Sticks. We found sticks of similar size and weight, and we got a rock, and we threw the rock and just tried to see who could get their stick closest to the rock.
So you basically played bocce sticks.
Bocce sticks. We were just being stupid. We had sticks, and we'd tap our sticks together.
Kids will make a game like nothing.
We were like 18.
Out of nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were like 17, 18.
Kids will have a damn full-blown new game that you ain't never heard of.
We were just being dumb. We'd look at each other and tap our sticks together and be like, bocce sticks. It's just, I missed the silliness of just being
if you
a young, dumb
idiots
kid.
can do it, I'm sure a caveman can do it.
I'm
just kidding.
Being stupid being silly is so fun.
Yeah.
I
Being
love
stupid
silliness.
on purpose.
Yes.
Not stupid on accident. But no, that's funny. Yeah, humans, games. We love them.
Oh, man.
We love a good game.
What was let me tell you what I cooked up for my breakfast this morning. I got a little creative.
Okay.
I love taking just random scraps of what I have and making a pretty decent meal. So I had like a 1/4 pound of ground beef left over from cooking some beef the other day. I had some leftover Chinese food. I had some sesame chicken that I got last night. And there was like a couple pieces of sesame chicken left and a decent amount of fried rice. So I just threw that 1/4 pound of ground beef in the pan, start searing that up just like taco meat, then throw in the fried rice, a couple pieces of that sesame chicken, a little packet of soy sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Fry that up in the pan. You still get some of that sweet sesame off that chicken. Double fried rice at this point.
So good.
It was amazing.
That sounds nice.
Bro, I paid $15. And I ate on that sesame chicken 3 separate times.
I fry rice a good bit at home.
I like to do a little batch of rice, keep it in the fridge, just a quick, fry it up,
Yeah,
a little stir fry, something like that, crack an egg in it. It's a fun little challenge to be like, all right, I have minimal ingredients. Let me make something that's going to actually be good.
My lunch is almost always 2 things: either meat, some sort of meat and fruit, or eggs and fruit. Like that's almost my lunch every single day.
Yeah. My lunch,
So simple.
a lot of days is fast food, but what can you do? I mean, I might eat fast food 5 times a week. I'd say 5 to 10 times a week.
What's your go-to?
I switch it up. I like to stick to Bojangles just because I know that they use beef tallow, so that's a big plus for me. A big reason I try to go get some Bojangles chicken because one, it's of all the chicken you can get fast food. If you go get a Cajun filet biscuit, that's some of the least processed chicken you can get, and it's fried in beef tallow.
Right. It's not like a paste. It's not like a chicken paste.
It's not a ground chicken that's then reformed into a patty.
Right.
It's a fucking chicken breast.
You're right.
So yeah, I usually stick to Bojangles, or I'll get like a burger. We talked about this before. I try not to get a side. I try to avoid fries. Typically, I'll go to Cookout, get like a burger out west style, which is just, quarter pound of ground beef, a few strips of bacon, pickles, onions, and like a little barbecue sauce. So really the worst thing on that burger is the bread and maybe the barbecue sauce. And I'm not getting like any fried sides or anything like that. And sometimes I'll get a soda with it, but most of the time I'll go get like a little sports drink or just have it with water or sparkling water or something.
You know what I did when I was in Charleston?
Yeah.
There's like I was at the conferences as at the Francis Marion Hotel, which is on the corner of King and Calhoun. You know where the Marion Square is?
Yeah, with Starbucks in the bottom?
Exactly. Yeah.
That Starbucks doesn't have a restroom. How do you have a coffee shop without a bathroom?
Yeah, you have to go upstairs to the hotel. Yeah.
How?
They can probably get away with it because it's the building. Like, yeah. But anyway, so I was right there, and there's a Five Guys, like, right up on King Street, like, literally, like, maybe a 2 or 3 minute walk up the street.
Up by that coffee shop where I was talking about we went to. Yeah.
But I went in there, and I got half pound of ground beef, which is just 2 patties. If you get a burger, it comes with. If you don't get a little burger, it's 1 patty. If you get a burger, it's 2 patties at Five Guys or whatever.
I don't know. I don't go to Five Guys that often.
It's really good. But anyway, I got a half pound of ground beef for $10. And that is literally just their patties. Just no. They just fry their burgers right there on the grill. Raw beef. They even say no fillers, no preservatives, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good option.
And it's $10 for a half pound of cooked ground beef. That's not a bad. I mean, it's not a great price.
Not great when a regular pound of ground beef, like a whole pound,
it's
like
the same
$7.
price. It's the same price as the burger. I get it.
Right.
But the only reason that I don't eat the bread is because I was going to be sitting in that conference. I would have fallen asleep. Like my body for some reason, like if I eat bread, I have to do it at night because I'm like literally. I just don't.
No, it don't get me like that.
I don't do well with it.
I'll go get a Cajun filet biscuit, and a biscuit's like the breadiest of bread.
Right. Yeah.
At like 9:30 in the morning, and then go work manual labor for 6 hours.
Right.
Bread doesn't really do me like that. But again, I'm not. I guess if you're just sitting in a conference room, maybe it'd affect me.
But
differently.
I can eat rice. And it doesn't do me. Rice or potatoes, neither of those do the same thing to me.
I wonder if your body's good with starches.
Maybe so. Well, what's the difference? Like, what type of carbohydrate is the bread? I thought that was also a starch.
I don't think bread is a starch. I don't know. I know potatoes and rice are starchy.
Right.
I don't think bread is. I mean, it maybe depends on the type of bread, but just like the typical sandwich bread or
I think there is some starch because there's different types of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
The starch is just a kind of carbohydrate complex. But yeah, I think there is. I think you're right. It's not as
right.
It's a different composition of carbohydrates.
So maybe it's that specific type of carbohydrates that's a little bit more natural. With the rice and the potato.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe your body just handles that a lot better.
And I'm sure the matrix is far less dense. If you know. So if you have a flour that's dried, ground, and then basically rehydrated and cooked, it has. Per mass, it has more calories than the potato does. Like it's going to be more. The calories are more dense in pasta and bread.
Yeah, than a potato for sure. I would imagine.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I don't know that for sure, but I would imagine because also the potato is going to be it's a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know what is like.
I wonder what percentage of the water cooks out of the bread. Like if you have a 90% hydration pizza, for instance, and you cook it.
How much hydration is left?
How much is left after you cook it?
I don't know. That'd be a nice.
Obviously, it depends on how long you cook
to Google.
it. If you burn it, there's going to be far less than if you just par cook it.
Right. You could definitely cook it all out.
But I'm saying like a pizza that you would eat.
Yeah. I don't know. I think 50% of the water stays in it.
So let me ask you this. If you started with a 60% or 65% as opposed to like a 90, or let's just say 70 and 90, do you think if you cook it to the same degree, you're left with the same amount of hydration at the end? Or no, that's impossible. You would have
I don't
more.
know because I'm thinking
Or would you
about
have to cook the pizza longer?
the crust, the crumb of bread, the pockets, the holes are where steam has opened up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when bread rises, it's that steam within the bread that's making those crumbs and those pockets within the bread.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know.
Well, let's just
That's an interesting question.
Let's think about it mathematically. So if I have two doughs, one at 90% hydration,
We
one
can't
at
think
70
about it mathematically because we have no idea how much hydration cooks out during the process. So
No, just follow me. Just follow me. If I'm just running through this thought experiment, if I have a 90% dough and a 70% dough, everything else is the same, and I cook them for both the same amount of time on the same amount of heat, thermodynamically, the one with 90% is going to have more hydration at the end. Because
I don't know because the hydration should steam off at the same rate. Just because one has a more like, I don't know. I don't know that I follow that logic.
Okay, let's think about it this way. If I have two pots on the stove, same size,
But that's
same heat,
not the same thing as cooking bread.
Well, just follow the
I know what you're saying. If one's got a liter and one's got a liter, 1.2 liters,
Right.
the first one's going to cook off quicker. I don't know that applies when you're talking about cooking bread.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I
That's
don't-
interesting.
I'm-
We'll have to look into that.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm
Right,
saying I
right.
don't necessarily
I'm
think
just
that's
doing
correct.
I'm doing a
either.
thought experiment.
I'm just
right.
not sure if that's applicable.
Because obviously in the bread, the water's in a matrix.
Right. So
yeah.
And I mean, if one bread's done and the other bread's done, I don't know. Like if it gets up to the same temperature, potentially the same amount of water is going to boil up. Like I just don't know.
I think honestly, the more yeast you use, the more water is going to be suspended within the matrix. So you can probably even affect it by how much yeast and how much sugar you use.
That doesn't make sense to me either.
Why's that?
Why would the yeast trap more water?
Because as it works and as it proliferates, it's going to use water and use it and kind of hold on to it. And as it works, as it metabolizes, it uses water and feeds itself and holds on to that water.
I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if that is true.
I don't know.
It makes sense.
I don't know either. I don't know if that's. I'm just thinking.
Right.
I'm just playing it out in my mind.
Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know that that's accurate.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
So, useful
kidding.
information coming from the Upper Creek with Two Paddles pod.
Yeah, we're idea guys. Okay, we're just putting them out there. We're trying to get the other people to figure out the answers to these ideas. We don't got enough time to answer the questions. We just got enough time to ask them.
Well, yeah, man, my garden's looking good. I think I need to water my squash more.
Yeah, your plants are far bushier than mine.
Yeah, they get a lot of light. I mean, they get full sun, zero shade from about 8 a.m. this time of year, from about 8 a.m. to about 6 p.m.
Wow. Yeah, they're gonna
full
be,
sun.
They're gonna be doing far better than mine.
But I think my squash have not produced any more fruit since the first time I harvested them. So I think I haven't been watering them enough because I've been paying more attention to my tomatoes because I'm aware of how much tomatoes need consistent water, but I've kind of neglected my squash and my cantaloupes because of that. My cantaloupes have been growing well. They got a lot of blooms, but they're not producing any fruit yet. So I think I need to give them more water. I don't know. I'm learning. That's the whole goal. The goal is not to produce food this season. The goal is to learn about producing food this season. And the food is just a byproduct of the learning. That's my mentality this season. I don't care if I harvest nothing. If I've learned from it, then good.
Well, you're gonna do both.
Oh, yeah. My tomatoes, I've got like probably 15 tomatoes on the vine right now.
Damn.
Probably 8 to 12 cayennes that are getting ready. Got a few bells coming in. I got a bell that's about that big right now. So that should be ready for harvest in maybe another week. I'm going to give all of them a nice dose of water when I get home because it's really hot out today. And hopefully my squash will start producing. I think there's one growing on it now that I've been mindful of how much water I'm giving it. So I don't know. I'm trying.
Dude, by the time we're 50, We're going to be canning like motherfuckers. Our wives are going to hate us. They're just going to have to be fucking canning all autumn long. That's the goal.
Not if you have the right woman. She's going to love it.
She's going to love it for the first couple of years.
No.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Nah. If I'm with the right woman, she's on the same page.
Right.
We're canning. We're keeping. We're saving money. And we're eating healthy. It's all bright sides.
Dude, me and Hannah agree on a bunch of stuff. Like, I want to teach her how to cook more.
Teaching how to cook is such a hard thing to do.
You have to put so much time into it.
Well, and also the person has to want to learn. That's the only way you can, like, if you want to, I don't know. I mean, that's most things. If you're interested, it's going to be a lot easier for you to learn. But with food specifically, you need to be interested enough in it to take the time to do research and look up videos and look up recipes and techniques and how come this recipe works better than this recipe. And if you're not willing and interested enough to do that on your own time, you're not going to catch on to it.
Well, and it's so much keying on to sensory clues as you're cooking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you have to like, okay, like now, okay, my sofrito isn't cooked off enough yet. I don't need to add any beef stock. I need to keep cooking the sofrito. It's not done yet.
Yeah.
Or this braise isn't done yet. Or maybe it's going to be overdone if I leave it in too long.
Mm-hmm.
Or this, whatever. You know what I mean? You have to start to key into all these non-obvious sensory clues that the food is giving you.
It's a long learning process.
That takes time.
Yeah. I think the easiest, I don't know.
And that's why they make all these fast food chains. It's literally like everything's already done. There's no guesswork. This is the way you do it. There's not much cooking involved. You know, it's more like plating.
And even if there is cooking involved, the temperature is precise, the time is precise, so that as long as you put it in and let it go all the way, when that timer beeps, if you take it out when the timer beeps, everything will be perfect.
Right.
But yeah, there's so many different aspects of cooking. You know, cooking a steak.
God, yeah, you're right.
Cooking a steak is so much different than cooking a stew. Or
the sensory clues that the dough gives you. That's not even cooking. Like, you think about like, oh, I need to stop stretching and folding or I'm going to tear my gluten.
Right.
You know, or I need to let this little porridge I have, give it time before I stretch it.
Right.
Or you know what I'm saying? Like things like that.
Yeah.
You have to learn all these very subtle things that aren't obvious when you're starting.
There's endless aspects. I don't know. Okay, here's a thing. What type of dish, if you learn to cook it, would help teach you the most well-rounded basics of cooking?
Dude, to me, I think something like I'm thinking chicken pot pie. Because if you do a chicken pot pie, you're
fully from scratch.
You're gonna have to cook cook chicken. You're gonna have to saute vegetables. You're going to make a sauce with cream. You're going to either do a pie crust or biscuits. So that's a bread. And
that's a really good option.
You're gonna use a stovetop and the oven.
Damn, yeah. You might have landed on like the number one fucking pick.
So something like that like kind of...
That's a really good option.
Or like maybe even like a lasagna. Like something like, because you tie a lot of different things in, like the pasta and your sauce and your vegetables. Like you're doing all these different things.
A couple fishermen getting a little close.
But yeah, I think something like that. That would be like a good all-around meal where you do...
I would have never thought about a chicken pot pie, but that might be the perfect answer to my question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a damn good one, because my mind goes to like easy shit, like something like a veggie, some like potatoes and a meat, and that's only going to teach you like...
That's not... yeah.
That's not going to...
It's not so involved.
Right. And like, okay, boil potatoes till they're fork tender.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is that to figure out? That's not teaching you a lot. But no, chicken pot pie is a damn good answer. It's a damn good answer.
You're gonna have to do a lot of stuff,
right?
Like especially if you're using whole ingredients, like you're gonna have to peel your carrots, you're gonna have to dice them all the same size,
So
all that sort of stuff.
The reason I ask that is maybe if you're trying to teach somebody how to cook, find a recipe like that that's really well-rounded and all-encompassing and has a bunch of different techniques.
Just walk through the whole thing.
And then if they get really good at that recipe, they can then go apply that to other things.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken pot pie is fucking perfect. I'm serious.
I don't hit a lot of stuff.
Cause like you got the meat, you're cooking meat. Chicken's a good one to start with because that's not the most easy meat to cook and make nice and juicy.
Sure.
So that's teaching you a lot about meats. The sauce is a big thing. That's something I still struggle with. Is a good sauce.
Yeah.
And then veggies is easy. Just get a little mirepoix, throw it in there, maybe some peas, and then the bread. Yeah, dude, damn. I think that is the correct answer.
That's a good one.
I think that is the correct answer to that question.
And to be wrong though, the lasagna is another one. Like, if that's going to tie in so many different things.
Lasagna is also another really good choice.
Similar, it's similar,
but it's a little bit less well-rounded, than
the chicken pot pie.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's easier. If you're looking for an easier one with less steps, the lasagna, even from scratch, is going to be easier than the chicken pot pie.
Yeah, because if you start, just for instance, you get good at cooking the full from-scratch chicken pot pie. Well, now, all right, anything you want to cook with veggies, so you got searing up some diced veggies. That's in your bag. That's easy.
Right, which is a basic. That's a fundamental skill.
Dude, I'm about to throw Wade under the bus. When we were living in Myrtle Beach, we were cooking, and I was cooking burgers one day at Jacob Galt and Damo's apartment, and Wade was down there. Excuse me. And I was just sauteing up some onions to go on my burger, right? Delicious. Had the burgers. Everybody ate burgers. It wasn't just me cooking. It was a little group effort. The next day...
Are we already post an hour?
Yeah, we're a little bit past an hour. We'll wrap it up after this.
No, you're good. I lost track of time.
The next day, Wade is like, I want to saute up some onions. Like, that was really good. And he was like, what do I do? And I was like, throw some oil in the pan, dice you up some onions, throw them in the pan. And he's sitting there stirring his onions. It's smelling good, And then he's like, is this good? And I walk over there. His onions are black. I'm like, no, Wade. That is not good. So even that, you need to know, all right, once they start getting translucent, they're getting close.
But see, that's
watch them a little closer.
Yourself at all. Once you start to smell those onions, you're like, oh, those aren't good anymore. Because a burnt onion smell,
but I'm saying somebody who just has zero experience cooking. And also, once the onions start getting a little bit too far done, they still smell pretty damn good.
I guess that's fair.
So, but again, you're just talking all the different intricacies of cooking. You need to know, all right, the vegetables are starting to get a little translucent. Mm. That means they're getting tender. That means maybe roast them a little bit more, get them caramelized a little bit.
And then even maybe that the carrots are going to take longer to cook than the onions.
Right. That's... Damn, I cannot believe... I would have never thought chicken pot pie.
Have you ever made one?
I think I've made one, but I used a store-bought pie crust. Like a puff pastry. But everything else was from scratch.
Dude, you with your knowledge of bread,
that was before. I haven't made one since I've started getting into bread.
Biscuits are like child's play.
Yeah.
Biscuits and pie crust are basically the same.
Yeah.
They have the same recipe. You can use them almost interchangeably. But
it'd be the same as that time I made those fried meat pies. I don't know if you remember that. I deep fried some. It'd be the same exact process. That batter would be perfect for that kind of puff pastry batter. But yeah, I cooked that before I was really getting into bread. So now if I did it all over again, I would definitely do it better. But
I know people like pie crust for chicken pot pie. I've made them with the pie crust.
Yeah.
But I for some reason I just like that biscuit on top. For some reason I fuck with the biscuit a little bit heavier for the chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
And I guess that's not technically a pie if you make it with biscuits, but
I don't cook too many intensive recipes. One, because I'm mainly only cooking for myself. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, I might only be cooking for me and Barry. So usually, if I'm cooking something that's going to be enough to where there will be leftovers, it's some sort of pasta, spaghetti, hamburger, helper style. meat, cheese, pasta, sauce type of dish. Anything else, like if I made a chicken pot pie right now, like a good percentage of that's going to get thrown out. I'm not going to eat it in time. So I try to stick to.
Well, they'll stay good in the fridge for like a week.
Oh, I know.
But that's why. And to be honest, with something like a chicken pot pie, I would usually split the work up into I'll roast the whole chicken or cook the whole chicken the day before.
Right.
And I might make my biscuits the day before.
Right.
And then I'll just, you know what I mean? And if I'm doing something like that involved, I might do something like that once a week. And I know I'm cooking it because I'm going to eat it for. I'm going to eat it for another meal or two.
I got one question to end out the podcast.
All right.
Now we're on the subject of food. Damn, my phone keeps getting caught on the chair. All right. Like death row meals. Like last meal. What would be your, not you specifically, but if you had to do a quintessential Southern last meal, what's on what is the most Southern classic meal you can think of? Collard greens. Gotta have collard greens.
For some reason, shrimp and grits is screaming out to me. And that's definitely one.
I found that to be so that's a good option. But I don't find that
what my choice would be.
Well,
if you're asking me to build a meal, that wouldn't be my choice.
Well, I was gonna say shrimp and grits is more Western Southeast in my mind.
I mean, Charleston,
shrimp and grits is
Charleston is
Charleston.
Shrimp and grit, like New Orleans, Charleston, shrimp and grits, like that's kind of
the coastal. It's more
that's
of a coastal meal.
So coastal for sure.
But yeah, I'm thinking collard greens, cornbread.
Ooh,
Gotta have cornbread or biscuit.
I'm going biscuits over cornbread. That's just
hold on. Dinner,
which is not the last meal of the day. It is your biggest meal of the day.
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead. Sometimes I'll be having dinner at lunchtime.
Semantics.
I
think if that is the true definition of dinner,
it's the largest meal of the day.
I think that at this point, we have redefined that word.
Supper refers to
the last meal,
the evening meal.
Okay.
Lunch
either
is
way,
your midday meal, right? Obviously.
So supper, again, Southern. Supper's the fucking Southern. I think the English use supper. Just quintessential Southern supper. It's 1911.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Collards, corn.
Gotta be cornbread.
Beans.
Black-eyed peas?
Probably some black-eyed peas.
What's the meat?
Pork.
You think pork is
Yeah, for sure. Because in the South, everybody ain't got cows.
Pigs are popular in the South.
Everybody got pigs. So you're probably going to have some ham and bacon, maybe.
Ham? Or are you thinking like a rump roast?
Yeah, something like that.
With
I'm thinking some pork.
Nice pig ass.
Yeah, just if you're talking quintessential Southern, we can get our hands on a whole pork.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you. I mean, the whole pig picking.
Yeah,
pork is definitely Southern pork for sure. I'm with you. So more specific: chops, loin, ham, roast. When I think Southern pork, I think chicken fried or Southern fried pork chops.
Some pork chops.
That's not my choice, but when I think Southern pork,
I'd go barbecued.
I think of battered fried, chicken fried pork chops.
Really?
When I think just
I don't
Southern.
even know that I've had a chicken fried pork chop.
Ooh, you missing? I don't
have to try that.
Pork chops are just a little too tough.
Dude, I get pork chops like a decent amount just because they're like a quarter of the price.
They're very cheap.
They're
very cheap. Ham, I don't know. Yeah, I think if I'm imagining right now.
Cream corn. Cream corn's on the table.
Ooh, cream corn's a good one.
Cream corn's on the table.
Cream corn's a good one. I'm just in my head I'm imagining I'm at
lima beans.
Ooh.
Get me some limas.
Hold on, we're too many beans.
I love the beans.
So we're building the Southern meal right now.
To be honest, you got all these beans in your garden. You got limas, you got black-eyed, you got some green beans. Those are your three beans.
Okay, so listen.
3 beans is normal.
We agree the greens are collard.
Yeah.
Not turnip, not mustard, collard.
Collard greens.
Collard greens. So that's greens, collard greens. Beans.
I named the 3 just now.
Which one, though? Which one?
Lima.
Which one lands home on that southern plate?
Oh, I forgot black-eyed, too. Fuck. So the 3 that are in my mind
I think
are
green beans are the most southern. Snap peas.
But you're going to have green beans and another bean. Like, because a green bean, you're going to have a green bean plus a black-eyed or a lima. Probably.
I just imagine my great-grandma
or some
when I was
butter
a
peas.
kid.
Fuck.
She'd have a
Butter peas.
a bucket of green beans, snap peas, and she'd just be in the house for hours just...
Okay, I'm going butter peas, green beans, and corn. Those are my 3.
All right.
Green beans, butter peas.
Heavy on the veggies
corn.
this plate is.
Yeah.
We got corn, beans, another bean, and collard greens?
Yeah.
All right. And so are we agreeing on the fried pork chop?
I'll go with the southern fried pork chop.
That's just when
I'm thinking more barbecue on my plate. If I had to go hardcore barbecue with some
hardcore
mustard,
barbecue. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good one
Whole
too.
roasted hog with some mustard sauce, son.
That might be it.
Yeah. With a roll on the side.
Sweet tea.
Yeah, sure.
It's got
Or Arnold Palmer. I can
Again.
respect the Arnold Palmer.
not necessarily my number one choice, but when we're talking about the southern plate,
Yeah.
we're basically trying to come
It'd
up
be sweet tea.
with we're coming up with the South Carolina state supper. That's what we're doing right now.
Dude, you would have so many people disagree. We would have so many people disagree with this.
Right in upacreek.com.
Please.
What is on your quintessential? I'm saying South Carolinian meal,
Yeah.
because that's what we know. That's what we're basing it on. You know, if I grew up in Louisiana, it's fucking gumbo, jambalaya, crawfish are on the crawfish. Got to be on there if you're in Louisiana.
Thank God we're not from Louisiana. I'm just,
But yeah, so beverage has to be sweet tea.
it has to.
That has to be. There's no other option.
Yeah, for sure. For
I
sure,
think that-
sweet tea.
I think that does it. All right.
That'd be a damn good plate. You could interchangeably put a biscuit on that particular plate. A biscuit doesn't belong. You're either going to go cornbread or roll. Sorry.
If we're going southern, it's got to be
Yeah.
cornbread. Got to be
Cornbread or
cornbread.
roll.
You like a sweet or a savory cornbread?
I don't like mine overly sweet.
I don't-
I
I'm-
never grew up with an
yeah.
overly sweet cornbread.
Yeah, that was never how my family did it either.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. All right. Now, last thing. Dessert. I'm thinking apple pie,
Pecan.
pecan pie,
Yeah.
peach cobbler.
Fuck. All 3. If
What
you're in
is-
a real South Carolina supper, you got more than one.
That's true.
You
That's true.
100%
That's true.
are cutting 2 different kinds
I'll
of
agree
pie.
with you on that.
Yeah.
I will agree with you on
For
that.
sure. If you had a good year.
Oh yeah. But we got to land on one. Banana pudding.
In South Carolina, I got to go peach cobbler.
Banana pudding.
But yeah, you're right. More people. If I'm going for personal, it would be the peach cobbler. If I'm going for the whole, it would be banana pudding. But we can't even grow bananas here, so fuck all y'all.
Okay, I agree with that.
We can't even grow
That
bananas here.
stipulation puts.
Every food we've talked about here can grow perfectly well here.
That's why it's got to be peach cobbler.
It's got to be, or apple.
You know, South Carolina produces more peaches than Georgia.
Yes.
Suck on that,
Suck it.
Georgia.
You claim to be
So
the peach
yeah.
state.
So to recap, we've got southern fried pork chops with some nice gravy, some gravy.
Yeah.
Collard greens, black-eyed peas, green beans, cream corn.
You can leave out the butter peas. I won't be mad at you.
Yeah, well, we can't just have all the good veggies around here.
But if you got a good garden, you got all those. Like if you're at a legit motherfucker southern and he's got a garden,
right?
and he's an OG.
I know, but I'm saying like I'm narrowing it down. This is the South Carolina state supper.
Well, I'm gotta throw some watermelon.
That's back to dessert. I think cantaloupe's more South Carolinian than watermelon is.
You can grow both here.
I know, but I think southern cantaloupes, dude.
The watermelon?
I'm putting cantaloupe above it
Are you fucking kidding
on
me?
the South Carolina state supper.
How are they making seedless watermelon?
I'm
It kind
so-
of concerns me.
Same way they make seedless marijuana, I would imagine.
I guess that's fair.
It's just about fertilization, right?
Sure.
The fruit will grow just like a hen lays an egg. a watermelon
Right.
plant will grow a watermelon even if it's not fertilized and doesn't have seeds in it. I
Right.
assume. I think that's how that works. But aren't watermelons self-fertilizing? I don't know, because some flowers are a perfect flower. I believe that's the term. It's called a perfect flower. It has the male and female reproductive systems. It's self-pollinating. Some plants have male flowers and female flowers on the same plant, and it's still self-pollinating. But if that's the case with watermelon, they can just cut off the male flower, and then it won't pollinate, but it'll still grow a fruit, potentially. So I'm not sure about that. With weed, you just have a male plant and a female plant, and as long as you grow the female plant with no access to male plants, there won't be seeds. So yeah, I think it's just how it's bred. But so yeah, collard greens, black-eyed peas, green beans, cream corn, southern fried pork chops with gravy. We'll go peach cobbler and cantaloupe, sliced cantaloupe on the side. We're petitioning for that to be the South Carolina State Supper.
Man.
I'm hungry.
Delicious.
I'm hungry.
That sounds like a delicious lunch.
That sounds so good.
I would eat the shit out of that, dude.
So everything we named, can be fully grown and harvested right here.
Might have some trouble with the wheat for the cornbread, but fuck it.
It's corn. Cornbread.
Oh, it's corn. Oh, I was thinking biscuits. I'm so stupid.
I mean, you got the pie crust for the peach cobbler potentially. Throw a little dough in there.
I'm such an idiot. Yeah.
The wheat for the corn bread. But all right, we're probably hitting about hour 15, hour 20. We'll wrap it up. This has been a beautiful day. Glad we were able to get here a little earlier.
Fun episode.
Hit us up at the upacreek at thepaddlepod.com email. Let us know your opinions on the quintessential. Is that the right word? I've said it like 7 times now, and it's becoming meaningless to me.
I have a hole in my shoe.
I have holes in many of mine. These are the only pair of shoes that don't have, or of 2. I've got a couple new pair that I haven't worn.
Yeah, you're
worn
using the
down
right
yet,
word.
but-
That's the right word.
Yeah, so just the quintessential Southern male. If you have any suggestions, or if you think we forgot something or left something out, hit us up. Fucking thank you guys for listening. Take it easy. See you next week.
All right.